All right, I'm not sure. Is it working now? I don't know. Maybe it was working before. Fuck, I don't know. I don't think it was. God damn it. Okay, well, anyway, I think it's working now. What the fuck was I talking about? This is an experiment. You know, I'm definitely going to come and do this again and try it in different places, but we're working out the kinks, we're working out the bugs and all that shit. So as I was saying, I think there's like a sort of a rehabilitation center or a kind of like halfway house type, and there's a lot of government housing and things because it's right near the river, and that's where they put all that stuff in New York. And so there have been these incidents like Rick Moranis. Rick Moranis got knocked down on the street or whatever. That was just some random like fucking person. That was not even like a mugging. It was literally just like somebody who's fucking crazy, like pushed him down on the street for no reason. So there's those kind of weird incidents, particularly in Chelsea. People getting killed in weird ways just by random fucking crazy people on the street. Not a lot, but there's a lot of police presence. There's a lot of NYPD cruising around because they want to, you know, intimidate and protect the young professionals. I mean, the thing about me is I kind of look the part, you know, like this building I just moved into. I look sort of like, you know, a cool young person that might have a job at fucking Google or something. And I can't go into this too much, but basically the situation was they didn't really want him to sublet, and the landlord was trying to kind of squeeze him out a little bit. I think, and now what I realize why that is because of this Google thing. They put this fucking headquarters in, I don't even know, a few years ago, and all they see is dollar signs. They know that right now their real estate is as valuable as it's going to be because this fucking company's here, and like they have a lot of employees, they have a lot of money, they have a lot of, I mean, you know, it's just so weird to like this Google headquarters on the very top. It's got two, at either end, it's almost like a fucking big battleship or something. At either end, there are these American flags, you know, on the top of this building. And it's weird because they're almost like the country, you know, like Google, Facebook. These are the things that have real power. These are the real conglomerations of people and information and money. And they're private. They're internet, so they're kind of like this exclusionary technology that, like, you know, if you don't know how to program, if you don't know that world, you can't really get involved in it. You know, and typically the people who are good at that kind of stuff, there is kind of a divide between like their modes of thinking, maybe, okay, like the Asperger's type thing, and other people who work in service industry or aren't programmers, or, you know. So I don't know. I have a kind of a chip on my shoulder about tech, obviously, because just everything goes through that now, and they get everything they want. And I haven't known that many people that's worked at Google, but like, you know, like anybody who, or fucking Palantir or whoever, you name it, you know, they're well fed, you know, they're taken care of. They probably went to good schools. They make good money. They make enough that they can afford. I mean, like I said, because of the sort of lower income, there were a lot of rent controlled apartments in Chelsea, and like I said, the government housing and whatnot. There's a lot of lower income people in Chelsea, so there is sort of an economy for that. The grocery store I went to last night is on 16th Street. It's called Western Beef, and I don't really know if I'm going to go back there because a lot of their food is full of preservatives and additives and weird shit. it's poor people food. You know, it's cheap, but it's not organic. It's not gluten-free or any of that shit for the most part. God, I wish that guy would turn his fucking guitar down. Maybe it would be better to do this at night. We'll try it at night. So anyway, this is an experiment. We're in New York City. We're live from 14th Street and 9th Avenue, out front of the Homestead Steakhouse. It's Naked City with Frankly Fabulous. And I lost my viewer. Oh well, fuck them. I don't give a fuck about viewers. I'm a failure. I'm a loser. There's nothing I can do about it. I try as hard as I can. I don't know what to fucking do. Let he who has ears, let him hear. As fucking Jesus said. You know, when I thought about doing this, I thought it would be more of a public thing. I thought I would come out and start talking, and people would be like, "Whoa, what the fuck is this guy doing? He's like talking and shit." But it's just like everybody's talking. Everybody's kind of see like these people. This dude, he's a white dude with dreadlocks. He's got blonde dreadlocks. That looks like a dude I met in San Francisco. It's like, you know, they look like they're in the Matrix 3 or the Matrix Reloaded. Those are like the fucking tech people. Those are the winners. Those are the people who have enough money to take care of themselves. While the rest of us, I mean, I was lucky to get where I am in this apartment, but I'm an anomaly, and I don't know how many people there are like me in this neighborhood at this point, but like I said, there's a little bit of an economy for it. It's got everything I need, honestly. There's a Chinese restaurant right around the corner. There's a Tex-Mex place, Bandito. There's the Punjab Deli on 9th Avenue is probably one of the last fucking good cab stand bodegas in the city. You go in there for $8, you get 3 wonderful vegetables, wonderfully prepared and seasoned, and rice. So there's a little bit of an economy for, you know, the neighborhood I lived in Ridgewood didn't have any of that shit. The restaurants out there were so expensive. I really didn't get it at all. There may have been a Chinese restaurant. I don't remember. But there were not a lot of options for poor people, surprisingly. And I don't know. I mean, it's just weird. It's a whole other kind of altitude up here. And I'm not sure how well I will relate to the people in my neighborhood or the people in Manhattan, because I kind of hate rich people and successful people and healthy people and tech people. And I don't know. There's something like sort of ski lodgy about the vibe. It's also weirdly in the meatpacking district, which is like where all these fucking nightclubs are. Like literally right down the street next to the Google building is this place called Tao, which is kind of a famous chachi nightclub place. It's sort of like a Broadway dazzling kind of showstopper, like sushi, like with really tall women, you know. And Catch is right near here. Like I said, the Standard, Le Bain. What else? One Oak, not far from here. It's all here because Milk Studios is on 15th. I work there. That's where they shoot a lot of covers for magazines and shit, a lot of modeling campaigns, ad campaigns, music videos. It's super expensive to rent the equipment. You know, it's like the height as far as like that goes. Pier 59 is right near here. So it's a nexus of fashion, or it was. I mean, the 90s, you know, Sex and the City, I think Kim Cattrall lives kind of near here in like some kind of, but before that, this neighborhood was dangerous. The meatpacking district was like a no-go zone. I think in American Psycho, he comes here to pick up like the prostitutes that he gets, you know, and it was like desolate, you know. There was not, these buildings were abandoned. The High Line was abandoned. Then there was sort of that movie Cruising with Al Pacino, which was all about like leather bars and shit like that, and fisting. Cruising is sort of famously about fisting, I think, or has a scene with that in it. And that was the meatpacking district. The meatpacking district was like the hardcore, like cruising, you know, like having sex with somebody in a fucking, you know, you never even talked to or whatever. And it sort of grew out of that. That was like 70s, 80s. It sort of grew out of that into the 90s. It became, like I said, fashion. What's that? Supermodel cafe. Those kind of, that kind of vibe, that kind of culture, that kind of like Chrissy Turlington, Naomi Campbell, Cindy Crawford. Maybe I should get this table over here. I don't know. I don't want to move. I'm in the middle of this. And it's sort of morphed out of that into this kind of super tourist. It's almost like a resort area. It's like a Gold Coast kind of vibe, you know. Like I said, a lot of high-end shopping. There's a Tesla fucking store, I think, right here. And then I saw this other one. It's luxury electric. That was a new thing. I mean, it's really just like nouveau riche and kind of Euro trashy over here. Euro trashy, that's a good word for what meatpacking district is. Not that I have anything against Euro trash. I'm a Mero trash. So the kind of continuum up into Chelsea. If you work for Google, you go out around here or go to the East Village or whatever the fuck. I also wanted to talk about, I saw a thing earlier today about how COVID is going up a lot of places, but New York in particular, which is not a surprise to me because as we've seen throughout this process, you know, shit spikes, people fucking get scared. They stay in. It was wintertime. Everybody was staying inside. But then, you know, a couple weeks ago around Valentine's Day or a little bit before, the cases kind of plateaued, started going down, and the vaccine started to get rolled out a little bit more. People could actually get it. So, of course, everybody thought, oh, it's over. You know, winter time's coming to an end. We're moving into spring. People are getting vaccinated. It's over. Like in New York specifically, this is so obvious because they reopened the goddamn restaurants. You know, like Valentine's Day, they reopened indoor dining, and it was supposed to be at 25%. But when I walked down the street, like last night, I fucking was looking at this goddamn restaurant, and like, it's literally fucking full of people. You know, like not wearing masks, talking. That's pretty normal, I would say. I mean, I think a lot of people maybe have gotten vaccines, but not that many. I've heard, you know, because we still have these age restrictions and whatnot. You have to be over 65, I think, at this point. I heard in New York, a lot of the fucking vaccines aren't even getting used because, like, you know, your average person isn't eligible. They're too young. I mean, I don't like the fact that it's 2 shots. I think that's weird. I just want to do one and done. If I could do that, I'd get it right fucking now. Literally. If I could do it, I'd do it. But, you know, as far as I can tell, not that many people have gotten it in the city. So Cuomo reopened the indoor dining on Valentine's Day. And it's March 20th. It's about a month later. It's not a shock. Like, of course it's going to fucking spike because everybody is just acting, and, you know, everybody's antsy. Everybody kind of, you know, has cabin fever. They want to get out. I hear a lot of people, like, multiple people in an apartment hanging out, laughing, talking. Not like having parties necessarily, although you hear some of that too, but a few people, 2 or 3 or 4 people over, and like what the fuck do you think is going to happen? Like, well, plus we also have these variants, which okay, the variants are supposed to be more contagious. We don't really know what the fuck the variants are about, to be honest, but they're supposed to be more contagious, and they can get around the mask or something. I don't know. I don't attribute the spike in the rising number of cases to the variants. I attribute it to the fact that they reopened dining, and most people are just sort of going. I mean, it's not like it's normal life, but I definitely think people are letting their guards down, and we'll switch it up. Let me switch the angle up here real fast. I don't know what the fuck. And we get it. It's been a year, we're all fucking tired of it, but it ain't over yet, and it's likely to end faster if we just hunker down until they can get fucking people vaccinated. I mean, obviously. All right, hold on. Let me switch the angle real fast. This is a nice shot, but I just want to see what this looks like. Okay, is that better? That's kind of shitty. I don't know. I just want to get kind of more people walking. Since I'm out here and since all these fucking people are passing me and shit. I don't know, maybe that light is too harsh. Maybe the sound's better too. It's an experiment. It's a test. This is just the first episode for On the Streets monologuing. I don't know. I don't know how to get attention or connect with an audience. Fuck them. So, I don't know. I mean, I'd like to get the vaccine. I haven't even really looked into the fucking thing, to be honest. God, what else is there to talk about? I feel like that's it. That's all I had to say, really. I mean, part of doing this is I've been in quarantine and I haven't had the internet, so there's not really a lot to talk about. Nothing really happens. That thing I had to say about Google buying up all the apartments in the neighborhood and shit. That was kind of my big insight of the day. Now what? I like we've seen, I think it's pretty safe to do things outside. That's why I feel somewhat comfortable doing this, but people are not social distancing, obviously. There's some kind of soccer thing going on. There's some kind of cheering happening over here. They don't even really have sports anymore, do they? What else? I don't know. It's been hard because I haven't really wanted to fucking stay in my apartment, and the weather hasn't been that bad, honestly, but I've been in the quarantine, and I mean, nobody wants to stay in their apartment. I mean, part of what's difficult, or seemingly so, about the pandemic in New York is the population density, which I don't really think that has a lot to do with the spike either. Like, you know, even things like going to the store and shit or going to buy food, I used to get a lot more nervous or cautious. I used to be, not that I'm not cautious about it, I always wear 2 masks and shit, but like, from what we've seen, you know, the way that you get this is by spending a lot of time, 15 minutes or more, or an hour, indoors in a poorly ventilated space, or just indoors, talking, or, you know, with no mask on, with somebody who has it, which, you know, of course, we know that a lot of people can have it and not even have symptoms and shit. So, I don't do that. You know, if I socialize with people, I'll do it outside. I'll go to the park. And I don't really have a problem with doing that. I feel like that's pretty safe. Like, if you're 3 or 6 feet apart or whatever, you know, sunlight is the best disinfectant. I've probably said that a million times on this, but it is kind of weird and disgusting, just in kind of like an instinctual, reactive, biological way to be around this many people. And it is like a little bit of a shock because I was in Ohio for a year and I didn't see hardly anybody, and there just isn't the kind of street life, obviously, as there is here. And there isn't the kind of density. I mean, New York, of course, is obviously very compressed and pushed upward. And so there's a lot of people per square mile. And when you fucking go outside, I mean, when I go on 8th Avenue or 9th Avenue, it is like, holy shit, there's just bodies everywhere. There's people laying on the fucking ground. There's people, you know, walking around that don't have masks on and shit. And it's like, maybe I could be a little more cautious about that and just like completely hole up in my apartment until I get the fucking vaccine. New York has got all these weird fucking like caveats and fines and shit they'll give you. Like, you know, if you don't quarantine or if you don't fill out this form or this or that. So like, I'm just trying to kind of avoid that shit. I think they're suspending that April 1st, the 14-day quarantine or whatever. But I'm also wondering, like, you know, tons of people have been coming here to visit and whatnot. That's definitely the vibe I get looking around this neighborhood, is like, these people are tourists. Like I said, they're Eurotrash. Like, I don't know why they came here now or what. Maybe it's cheap. It's just an unfair position that all the businesses have been put in because they have to make money, and yet they are also forced to close. So what the fuck are they supposed to do except reopen as much as possible and force their employees to fucking like they don't have a choice. So they want tourists to come. They want people to eat in their restaurant. They want people to go to the bar. They want people to stay in the hotel, to fly. And it's like, I think that the powers that be in this state made that choice. They knew that reopening on Valentine's Day was not like, it was like the earliest possible fucking time they could do it. But they also, you know, it's tax time. The fiscal year came to a close not that long ago. So some reality is setting in, I think, for them in that way. And they have to reopen shit. The government is insisting because they want taxes. And they need taxes. So they know people are going to die. I mean, I think the other difference with New York now is now they know how to treat it to some degree. So the people that die of it has decreased a lot. Last year when it first hit, and I mean, it really hit in New York, I think, harder probably than anywhere in the world. What is it? 40,000 people have died or something. It was just out of control, and they didn't know how to treat it at all. It was literally, they didn't have ventilators, they didn't have this, they didn't have that. Now I think they figured out how to manage it, the best ways to treat it. And so even though a lot of people get it, and people may even get long COVID, which, the symptoms last for fucking year or whatever, I don't know. They're probably less likely to die of it. There's some element of maybe the more susceptible people have already been taken out, and that's nature in action, I guess. But it's still a risky time, and I don't know. I want to get outside and I want to see things, and I don't know. It's just healthy for me. I mean, spending all this time in the apartment, it's a beautiful place, and I mean, I couldn't ask for anything better, to be honest. But I've also been weirdly just kind of dwelling on shit that I didn't even think about. I don't know what triggered this for me to kind of revisit this situation, like with my ex, and be like so obsessed with that, because I didn't give a fuck at all. Literally, October, November, December, January, didn't fucking care. February, didn't fucking. No, it's not that I didn't care at all, but like I was pretty good about just like putting it out of mind. I was working on my live broadcasts, which, as you can see, still has no fucking viewers. Very depressing. But we do it for the greater good, whatever the fuck that means. I influence the influencers. I'm kind of the invisible hand. Hopefully the sound, if you're out there watching, how's the sound? Is it just this music is fucking loud, or can you actually hear what I'm saying? We're live from 14th Street and 9th Avenue in Manhattan, New York City. Of course, they're my viewers. See, I asked them a question, and they just pieced the fuck out. I don't know. What the fuck do people want me to do? Maybe I need I really want to do like performance art. I want to get some of my avant-garde theater friends to just come out and just do like a kind of a movement jam or something with me. Or like, just a behavior jam. Do social experiments in that way. Maybe that could be the show. That could be what I live stream. Maybe that's what I should do right fucking now instead of this. Write poetry as you go. As you wish. Where the fuck is my cursor? I can't see anything. Oh god, now he's playing You Gotta Hide Your Love Away. Hopefully I don't get copyright sniped for that. Can the fucking scanners and the scrubbers, can the audio scrubbers detect that? I'm not sure. The Lennon McCartney melody. Fucking Google bastards. They're right there. I can't even get free internet. They're right fucking here. Sucking up all of this information, sucking up all this text, sucking up all these faces, sucking up all this data, and not giving us anything, not paying us for it. To me, okay, that should be the universal basic income, right? They're using our data to make money. They should have to pay us for that, right? Or, I mean, wasn't that in Illinois? Wasn't there some lawsuit against Facebook where Facebook had to pay everybody like $400 or whatever? Some pittance for their data. A pittance for my data, sir. A pittance for my data. I guess without the facial expressions, it's kind of just a radio show. That's cool. I love radio. God, there's just beautiful people everywhere. It's so great. But, hand in hand with this beauty is, like I said, this terminal professionalism that just like we know that our society is fucked. We know that Google is fucked. We know that Facebook is fucked. And yet everybody's trying to become an influencer, get product placement on Instagram, whatever. Me, I do want to be sort of a dirty opposition to that. I do kind of want to be like a fucking, and I feel like that's my place. I feel like I've been put in this apartment with my perfectly situated frame view of the Google headquarters to be sort of like the holy, dirty dissent in opposition. And what's the best way I can detract or influence the Google people? I don't even think they'd like me. Maybe that's because I have such contempt for what they do and their source of health and happiness, and like I said, how well bred they are. But so be it. I mean, it's a crime, I think. We were talking about issues with success. I had kind of a long text thread with my producer, Eamon, who's been my rock through this whole thing. But we were talking about success and how we feel kind of like, God, I feel like people are getting on and then just leaving because the sound is so bad. Self-sabotage, like I said, I've been dwelling on my situation with my former partner and how that went down. She's trying to perform an erasure on me and act like I didn't exist. And act like we were just friends, which is not true. We were never friends. We were friends. We were friends in the beginning, but I was definitely not her friend for the last 3 years. Not that I give a fuck. Like, I really don't give a fuck what she does. I don't think... Why does she get to be successful so fast? Beginner's luck. I mean, I don't want to harp on this because I don't want to get... Can you cancel something that doesn't exist? If a YouTuber with no viewers gets canceled, does it lose any views? Does it lose any influence? Does it make a sound? I don't think so. So you can't cancel me. I'm uncancelable because I don't even exist, basically. Not that I do anything that's worth being canceled. It just feels like, I don't know. The culture has changed a lot. Can I talk about this in public? Re-entering sort of the singles workforce. I'm relearning the kind of dynamic. I don't have any dating apps, which sucks. I need to get on that as soon as possible because that would probably change my quality of life. But as I've stated before, I got banned from fucking Tinder for something that was really, for one thing, it was a first offense. Let's call it that. And it was really not like criminal. Like what I said was not like granted it was like not appropriate maybe or a little forward, but it was certainly not like something I should be banned for life for. So I don't have that source of how do you even date anymore? Like if you don't have fucking Tinder, like nobody will talk to you in public. That's impossible. And then like fucking the fuck is that? You can't. Everybody's so defensive now. And like, granted, I don't know what their experience is, but like, and it maybe has to be that way, but also it feels like not any fun. And where's the fucking element of chance? Where's the element of like starting up a conversation with a stranger or allowing that. There's just no place for that anymore. People are so militantly on guard and everything. Okay, so the thing with Cuomo, right? I heard one of his staffers came forth, and granted, I didn't read the article because I can't read the article because I can't get past the paywall. But it said that one of his staffers was claiming sexual harassment because he oogled her body and said some shit to somebody else about some kind of sex thing. And it's like, okay, he oogled her body. Like, this is a crime now? Like, I suppose it might be in the near future, or maybe it already is. To me, there's a difference between that and like touching somebody in a weird fucking way, touching women like the small of their back. That's fucking weird. Like that's out of bounds. And like you shouldn't be obvious or like a dog about how you're like, you know, especially if you're in a position of power and these women like are afraid they're going to get fired or whatever. But like, I don't know. In the patriarchy, obviously women were completely suppressed in like almost totally. So maybe that's just what happens when, you know, the gender, you know, whoever's in charge, patriarchy or matriarchy, maybe this is just what happens is they start not, you know, I mean, obviously, okay, is it a form of suppression or repression to, God, I would kill this fucking guy with this guitar. Just turn it down. Oh, God. Anyway, I think you're just in fucking denial about who men are. You know, like, we're obviously very horny. And we're not good at... Oh, God. I don't know if I can really talk about this in public because it's such a nuanced thing. And I'm also not high because I don't have any fucking weed. So there is a little bit more self-consciousness and nervousness. God damn, that's fucking loud. All right, I'm on 45%. I'm going to keep going until my battery runs out. Like, not that it's okay for men to behave the way that they have, but like, how the fuck is anybody ever going to get laid again? And how's it going to be any fun? You know, it's just like, I heard something about there's going to be an app or something that's like a consent. You're going to have to like sign like a consent form or something that you have proof of consent when you sleep with someone. Like, what could be less fucking sexy than that? Like, when are you going to make that happen? It's already hard enough to get laid. Let me tell you something. It's already like almost impossible to get laid if you're a guy. You know, I think that's a difference. Like, women probably don't really understand that because it's probably not as hard for them, not to generalize, but like, you can't really know what it's like. Like, it's very hard for a guy. And so like, anything that's going to like, you know, you're trying to work, you know, you're trying to like work to that. When are you gonna fucking like time out? Hey, will you fill out my consent form real fast? Like, legal paperwork, like fucking for real. Like, it's sort of an honor system thing. I mean, that's romance. That's love. It's like, you know, fucking God, all these people are fucking sneezing and shit. Maybe I should leave. Go across the street, close to the Apple store. Yeah, I'm gonna move. I don't want to be around this fucking guy who just sneezed. Maybe I should just do the whole show like this. Just moving. Okay, that's probably better sound-wise, maybe. Hopefully I don't lose my stream while I'm readjusting here. Like, dude, you're fucking sneezing. Like, stay the fuck at home. You know, like, women already have enough reasons to think guys are fucking disgusting and, like, brutal pigs. But, like, where am I going to go with this? I should have brought the chairs over here. Fuck. You know, I'm not trying to, like, be anti-fucking feminist or anything like this, but, like, it's a two-way fucking conversation, and just, like, make us understand. You know, it's just like there's just such this, like, scorched earth fucking policy about, like, we got to take these guys out, we got to put them in jail and shit. And, like, certainly probably some guys fucking deserve that, like, they're real pieces of shit. But, like, what that implies also is just, like, what women don't know is a lot of times they just fall for the worst fucking guys and the most duplicitous, like, fucking sociopathic dudes that go after them, you know? All right, now what the fuck am I gonna do? Can I sit here? Let's try that. Yeah, we'll do this. All right, I'm live from the Apple Store. Maybe I'll move again, and this is the only way I can do this. This is how poor people live stream. YouTube won't let me stream from my phone because I don't have 1,000 subscribers, which is also micro influencer discrimination. Yeah, I guess the sound's probably better over here. I'll get this window going on. Maybe. You know, like, there's no end to the ways that I'm frustrated by the choices that women make and the guys they fall for and shit like that. The bad boy, of course, is the cliche. It's like they're like cats, to use a completely misogynistic, outdated analogy. You know, like, I learned this with Moondog. When I move my bookshelves into the house, and when we turn the bed up against the wall so we'd have more room for the party, the first fucking thing that Moondog did, and she did this in every situation, was she had to get on top of the shelves. And she climbed up on the shelves, and she jumped from the shelves to the fucking bed that was up against the wall, like 8 feet off the ground, with no regard to the danger. She just had to get up there. It's one of these curiosity killed the cat type things. Like, women, they get challenged. They like that stuff. They have to pursue that stuff. Like, the danger, what the guy can do, the emotion. Action's unstable. What the fuck? It was just working over there. It's worse here? How is it worse over here? God, this is totally insane that I'm even talking about this out here and trying to do this in this way. Maybe I'll just film it. Let me just film for a second. So it's like, you know, on the one hand, they don't have their own best interests necessarily. They fall for bad guys, guys that will exploit them, guys that will cheat on them or torture them, you know, emotionally, keep them thirsty or whatever, who will play them basically. And yet they want to like criminalize all these kind of behaviors that it's like, well, what the fuck? How do we sort this out to get it so like the things that, how do we, first of all, how do we understand like what the real traumatic experiences that are happening here are, like, and what is going to be the best way to actually, is like the political element of it. It's always the Democrats that go down on this, you know. It's Al Franken, it's Cuomo. It's like they want to make, what is it, a Pollyanna or a pariah? They want to make a pariah out of Cuomo. And it's like, it's just an echo chamber. Like, they're the only fucking ones that care. The Republicans don't give a fuck about this at all. They don't even live in this world. You know, like, they like women blonde and like with big boobs, and like, you know, they like men like cowboys and shit. And that's just the way it's supposed to be. And it's like, we're trying to move out of that. Is criminalizing, like, oogling, like, this is, what's the precedent for this? You know, like, it's one thing to like steal something or you know, physically harm somebody. It's another thing entirely, like I get it. It's probably not any fun, you know, and like, but they get tons of validation for it, and they get tons of reward for it. You know, like, every woman I know in music, they don't even have to hardly do anything at all, and like, their career just explodes. Like, it does not work that way for guys. You can name that in anything. You know, if you're attractive and thin, like, there are plenty of things that are served up to you on a goddamn silver platter. So there's a certain amount of privilege with that. Pretty girl privilege or whatever. It's like, what? Okay, so you have people catcalling you on the street. Like, that's fucking stupid as hell and gross. And like, it should stop. Like, guys shouldn't do that. It's fucking sick. But like, how fucking bad is that really? You know, like, there's pros and cons is all I'm saying. You know, it's like if you're famous, you know, like, yeah, sure, it probably sucks, like, having people come up to you on the street and shit, like, all the time, or like, and granted, like, women didn't ask for this. Like, if you're an attractive woman, or, you know, you didn't ask for this, and it is horrible. And like I said, I don't really understand, because I'm not in it. I've never experienced it, so it's not even really my place to comment on it. And I'm sure anything I'm saying is not like any kind of like anything other than just like dumb fucking male bullshit that'll get me canceled. But like, I'm already canceled, so what the fuck difference does it make? I'm already, you know. And just like, speaking from my outmoded, middle-aged, you know, bro point of view, this new world frightens and confuses. Oh God, water just dropped on my head. I feel like Abe Simpson. Abe Simpson has that great line on The Simpsons about, I used to be with it. Fuck, was that water too? They're trying to fucking smoke me out here. They're trying to smoke out my live stream. Oh, that's nice. See, I'm trying to get the people in the reflection. I used to be with it. Then they changed what it was. Now what it is frightens and confuses me. I'm starting to feel that way. You know, I feel like that's just like the waves of the generations. And as you sort of move up the ladder, the younger people, you look at it and you're just like, what the fuck? Like, I don't get this at all. Like, not that I don't get like a lot of the Zoomer culture or whatever, but I think it's overrated as fuck. I mean, people always just get excited by whatever the new young thing is, but like, what's so great about Zoomers? Like, for real. Like, so fucking what? They're on TikTok or they roast everybody or like, I don't know. What's so great about them? It's just hype. It's just media hype. I mean, that's the other thing that's frustrating about this is I feel like women are maybe not more susceptible to groupthink, but like with trendy shit, you know, they all have to follow the trends. They all have to dress like whatever the season is. If there's some kind of fucking handbag that everybody wants, they have to have it. They want what everybody wants, you know, and that's stupid as fuck. And so like, there's a lot of just following the trends when it comes, you know, now it's been programmed into everybody that like, oh my God, like, you know, I was raped in college or something. And like, you know, I have to be like completely like, just like thinking this way. And it's like the idea of what rape has like really fucking changed, or there's a lot more. And like, okay, I'm not trying to, like I said, I'm not trying to like be not sympathetic or, but like there's a huge fucking load of room between like some kind of violent incident where a strange person like fucking and then like something that happens at a fucking party because you're too drunk, like, you know. And like, I'm not trying to be unsympathetic or on the right side of things, but I'm saying like, what is, maybe there's shades of it, you know. Point being that when it comes to like criminal activity and shit like this, they're starting to criminalize a lot of things that men do, or that like oogling or something, right? Like, that's not a fucking crime. Like, I don't care. Like, are they gonna make it a crime? Like, you can't even look at fucking like somebody the wrong way. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, I don't know. I mean, and there's just like a vengeful kind of militantness to it that's like, it's not some kind of open like, hey, let's work this out, let's work through this, like, let's figure this out. Like, it's no, it's like, you've been holding us down for thousands of years and we're pissed about it. And like granted, like I said, I've never been subjected to that really, but like, everybody's got their fucking struggle and like their cross to bear and shit like that. And like, there are pros and cons. If you're a fucking hot chick, like, you get a lot of things for that. You get a lot of nice things. You get a lot of privilege. I see it all around me. Like, guys just send you money and shit, or buy you things, or constantly. Maybe if I move. All right, I'm reconnected now. I don't know. I mean, I'm learning this. I'm learning the new kind of lay of the land and stuff. Like I said, I haven't been single in a few years, but it seems like a way more like militant and exclusionary world. I mean, everybody is they're like doing not like background checks, but like you only socialize with and relate to people that are like in these very like defined channels and like screened. Everybody's screened for everything, and it's like the guys that are going to get past those channels are just the guys who are good at that. You know, like women want to fucking go out with guys who have status, who have power. And that shit is also becoming something that's like pre-decided based on your identity. You know, like if you are X, Y, or Z, you get the opportunity automatically because we need diversity, we need this or that. And it's like, I think there should be some aspect of that, definitely. Like clearly, definitely. There should be a lot of that. But like to me, it just blindly following that and having that be like your principal ethic is just so fucking stupid. And like, it's not the way that I want to do things, you know? So I don't know. Re-entering this city, I'm not sure what the fucking dynamic is. It might just be totally, I mean, I've been in Ohio for a year. Obviously, my fucking politics or point of view has been completely like, shaped or kind of like framed by that. But coming back here, I mean, it just might be a complete, there might just be no place for me at all. You know, people might just look at me like, you're some archaic. I mean, this is something I hear a lot. People on the internet have told me this about, oh, we're just white guys, like we're useless or we're not. And certainly like the culture and people, like I said, through these kind of like social media and shit, that's what they're being engineered to think. I just think that that's obviously it's like revenge for the way that they feel like they've been suppressed and shit like that. But like, to me, that's not what the solution should be going forward. Like, and it's just kind of uncalled for, at least on that kind of grand scale. I mean, I get it. Like that was a reaction to Trump. Now that we're out of that, is there going to be some kind of mediating like balance where it's like, okay, it's okay if you're fucking like a white guy, but like you have to be, you know, my buddy told me I've been writing a lot of letters. If you want to be my pen pal, send me your address. I want to write people letters. So I'm looking for pen pals, not emails, letters. He wrote me a letter saying he had submitted a poem to this magazine, and they asked him, maybe I'll go back over. They asked him what he was doing to diversify or something like that. Diversify like his fucking maybe it was, and he was like, God damn it, motherfucker. And he just closed the fucking tab because he was like, what am I going to say to that? I mean, I don't think it's a bad question. Like, I do think that everybody should be working to do that. And how can they do that? But the idea that it's like a requirement and like the principal requirement, it's like, I don't know how like,
oh, she loves it. They did.
With that, it's like, it's something that should be worked on, definitely. It's something that should be a priority for everybody. But the militant kind of like everybody lockstep, like here's what we're doing, and like this is like our mission now. It's like I don't see like a uniform across the board need for that. I think that's just going to make a sort of homogeneity as well, where it's like you just have the same effort or flavor coming out of everything. And like, that's not diversity. You know, diversity is diversity of point of view, diversity of approach. Having everybody have the same fucking point of view where they just share the same like stupid ass like social justice memes on their Instagram moments is like, and this is something I've noticed a lot of hot chicks do. Like, they know that stupid guys like me like look at their Instagram moments because they want to see pictures of them. And so what do? They share a bunch of social justice memes, whatever the current like meme of the day, because they're smart and they're good people and they're sincere and they want to do the right thing. And like, a lot of them are, you know, from non-white cultures. And like, but it's mostly just like trend following. Like I said, it's like, this is what's in, this is like the handbag I need to have, this is the way I'm going to use my like platform, my sort of you know, all these guys are thirsty. Well, I'm not going to give them what they want. I'm going to give them this. I'm going to give them, you know, vegetables. They need to eat this. They need to. I think that's good. If I was a hot chick, I'd probably be doing the same thing. But I'm not. I'm a thirsty guy. So all I do is post shit that nobody fucking cares about and nobody likes. Anyway, I don't know. I probably can't share this video because it's too unwoke. It's just like, these are the things. I don't know the position that I don't. The thing is, I don't have any power. You know, like the idea that like I use my power to like dismantle this or that. It's like, what fucking power? Nobody watches what I do. Like, I have a poetry magazine that nobody gives a fuck at all about. Even the people who are in it didn't fucking care. And with that, like editing that, I will say that it was not a priority for me to make it diverse. Not self-consciously, because I feel like that is exploitative. I feel like if that is your mission, you are valuing people based first and foremost on how they look and what, you know, background they are, and that's not fair. To me, that is dehumanizing. All the people that I publish in my magazine, and there was diversity, were people that I had met in person. I liked their work. And so, and I thought it was good. So I fucking put it in my magazine. I would say that I'm promoting diversity by publishing people that don't typically get published, by actually going to places and finding them. You know, I'm not just like trying to publish the in people who are academic superstars because they are, you know, non-white, and that is just like, that's getting pushed at the front of the line now. Like, way that I promote diversity is by going to fucking open mic nights or readings, workshops, publishing people who don't really get published otherwise, because like, I like their work. I met them. They're a good person. I like them as people. They fit in with like the aesthetic artistically that I want to identify with and put across to the world. To me, that is diversity, by publishing people who haven't been published, who are good. You know, like if everybody's just like, oh, my one friend, everybody's asking that person for work because of who they are and what their background is, like that's not, that's, like I said, to me, that's devaluing somebody and reducing them to, I think, to some degree the thing they're trying to escape, which is pigeonholing them as a certain identity or something. Now, granted, like there's a lot of work to do, but like the other thing you have to understand is America is an isolationist country. Geographically, it's not really near that many other places, and certainly not near that many other places where they speak other languages or they look that different. Like, and the other thing is because of that and because of where it is situated geographically on this continent, Americans don't travel internationally hardly at all. It's not encouraged. It's harder to do. There might be domestic travel, but not even that really. And most Americans are fucking couch potatoes. They're sedentary, they're passive, and these stereotypes and things are put across to us on television and shit like that. So that's what we believe. And like, we don't travel, we don't see other cultures, we don't meet people from other backgrounds, like, so it's not encouraged, like this is systemic, to think it's like the fault of these individuals. Granted, like if you're a fucking racist piece of shit, like sure, if you're a fucking incel or a fucking proud boy or whatever, like fuck you, like you're a piece of shit, like you're just dumb and hateful and you should die. But like your average American dumbass, like the people in my goddamn family and stuff, like they never been anywhere. They never been west of the Mississippi River. They never been out of this country. Maybe they've been to Canada, another white country, beer drinking white people with guns. But like, what the fuck do you expect from these people? Like, their world is small, their point of view is small. Like, you can't, to some degree, you can't really blame them. They can't pronounce certain thing, they can't pronounce your name or whatever. Like, they're fucking raised this way, like, and like I said, because the country is isolated geographically, it's not like Europe, it's not like South America, and they have these fucking problems everywhere, man. The first day I started working at Sushi Inn, which is owned by Koreans, my friend Diana, who's Korean, first thing she told me was Koreans are more racist than anybody. They hate, I don't even remember, they hate Japanese or they hate China, it's like, now you don't think that because, in America it's very obvious. It's white and it's black and it's slavery and all of that shit. There, I mean, your average American cannot tell the difference between a Korean person and a Japanese person. They don't know the difference in the words, or a Chinese person. Like, they just can't do it unless, like, they've intimately kind of spent time, like I did, working in a fucking restaurant. The odds that, like, your average American will have been to Japan or Korea or not that many. So it's like, should they do better? Yeah. But, like, this is where they fucking live and this is how they are. Is it like some kind of like irredeemable crime against their character? Like, no. And like, give us some fucking slack, like, I mean, I think there's a lot to listen to about and to learn about, and yeah, it's definitely about like not hogging the spotlight or even being the center of attention. But like, why is this is like really the first time this has ever been introduced. And I get it. Like, if you've been suppressed and fucking, there's been violence committed against you for centuries and shit, like, you're probably fucking pissed off about it. And even in your own life, the way that white people treat you in this country. It's probably fucked up. And it's probably, not fun on the day-to-day basis. But like, in order to work through this, how do we get on the same side? How do we're all people, to be totally generic and peacenik about it. One love. I'll turn this way now. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, good. I don't know. I probably just keep harping on the same fucking points over and over on this. I probably said this 100 times already. How the fuck did I even start talking about this? I don't know. As a poor person, as a person from the white underclass, middle class, lower middle class, like, it feels a little fucked up to be like considered like the bad guy or some kind of like super privileged like beneficiary of the way I look or something, because that hasn't really been the case. Like, granted, there are certain things that I probably don't have to deal with that, like, if you're an immigrant to this country, you do, and that sucks. Part of the reason I'm talking about this is because of the shooting that happened this week. A guy fucking in Atlanta walked into a spa and killed 8 Asian American women, which is absolutely horrific. And there's been a spike in anti-Asian violence and sentiment because of the coronavirus. This was not not necessarily related. The guy said something about they were temptresses because they were sex work, or the cliche in our culture, in the media, kind of inseminated, and also just a result of the war machine. In Vietnam, most particularly and most recently, the cultural archetype is, ooh, me so horny. If you've seen Full Metal Jacket. And this is a common thing in war. Any place there's a war and there's tons of military dudes suddenly brought into a region for that purpose, there is concurrently a large prostitution kind of counterpart, because that's the business. That's how these guys get laid. My friend who was in the Navy, he's the only person I've ever known who's visited a prostitute. He went to like a whorehouse in Dubai with a bunch of the dudes he was on a ship with. He was in the Navy, and like, they all went together on like fucking New Year's Day or something. They were on leave. It's like, it's what they did. A bunch of them, like 20 dudes or something, officers and shit. Because like, this is just part of the mechanism of the war. Is like, these guys are alone. They're on a boat. They got a lot of pent up, energy, and they're dudes. They're horny as fuck. Like, we know this. And so, like I said, anywhere there's a war, at least that's how it was in Vietnam. That movie Saint Jack is sort of about that, with Ben Gazzara. He plays a pimp in Vietnam. And so in our culture, there's this sort of stereotype of the the geisha, or the concubine, subservient Asian, and also massage parlor kind of culture where the women are sex workers. They're paid to give you happy ending. These are all cliches. These are all punchlines, really, in our culture. Like I said, Me So Horny, that's a 2 Live Crew song. And like, that's what this guy, I mean, he's from the South. He's a fucking dumbass. So like, that's the way he saw these women. They were temptresses. You know, he's religious. He had paid to have sex with them before. And so rather than be tempted anymore, he fucking went in and he killed him. And like, it's just acting out a lot of, you know, these kind of media inspired, or, but they're also, this is just the baggage, like I said, of these wars. You can't have these kind of massive conflicts and not expect there to be some fucking, you know, trauma, lingering collateral damage and scar tissue and whatnot. But there's also been this spike of anti-Asian violence because of the coronavirus. I saw it in Ohio. The racist jokes about the China virus and shit. Like, it's absolute. I condemn it. I condemn it 1,000%. It's absolutely horrendous. It's evil. I don't know. It's evil. It's stupid. It's fucking stupid as hell. I don't know why people think this way. They're dumb. I don't know. They're fucking. It's not like there's a lot of anti-Asian sentiment in this country. World War II, you know, there was a lot of propaganda about Japs. I don't know if I can even say that because it's a slur, but. And they're sort of gearing up for a war with China. You know, now there's all this anti-Chinese rhetoric about, you know, they make crappy fucking, and they're taking over the world and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, the virus was engineered in a lab in Wuhan, and they're doing it as sort of a silent way to sort of ambush the United States, kind of secretly overthrow us without firing a shot. In the beginning of the pandemic, I heard somebody say China won World War III without firing a shot. Like, give me a fucking break, man. Well, that band is kind of nice. See, I like that. It's not too loud. I mean, once again, there's a fucking ocean that separates us. So there's a lot of fucking misinformation that gets in that space. And certainly this country has been horrible to a lot of Asian immigrants, you know, Chinese people in California building the railroads, whatever. Like, there was a lot of death and slavery, and how do we make it better? How do we right the injustices that are around us right now? I mean, to me, the big injustice right now that happened in front of everybody and nobody even fucking can care or do anything about it is the fact of the wealth transfer of the pandemic, you know? And I mean, obviously the pandemic has been incredibly racially biased, with a far disproportionate number of the victims being low-income, Black, Hispanic. And that's also kind of an economic issue because of the jobs that they are forced to work, because of the housing situations they're in, multiple generations living in one home. fucking, it's not unusual for immigrants from Central America to live, 20 people in a fucking apartment or something, like be out of necessity. Now, maybe that's a stereotype and a cliche, but like, how the fuck do I know? I don't know. I'm just talking in generalities, I guess. We're running out of battery. We're on 9%, so we're going to wrap it up pretty soon. Thank you for watching. Like I said, I don't really know if I can share this because just more of my... We're all incels at this point. I'm not an incel, but like, we're all involuntarily celibate. We're in a fucking pandemic. Nobody's having sex, and it's all involuntary. So I'm not sympathizing with them. Like, the incel is the stupidest fucking thing in the world. Like, those guys should all just fucking die. But I know I'm celibate involuntarily right now. Hopefully that will be over very soon. Anyway, how can we do better? The contingent of people that care are being very like, all right, I gotta end this. But a lot of people in this fucking country don't care. They're just racists. And the other interesting thing about it is it's the first mass shooting, I think, since the pandemic. So for better or worse, the pandemic did sort of put a timeout on the mass shootings. All right, I'm on 8%. It's going to die if I don't shut it off. So thank you for watching. We'll try and do better next time. Just get outside and enjoy life, I guess. We'll talk to you soon. Good night.